Okay, hi, welcome to a brand new episode of Freewheeling Fridays from Java Capital. This is a very special episode for us. We are celebrating Diwali, obviously. Happy Diwali, everybody. Hi, Vinod, happy Diwali.
Hey, happy Diwali, Karthik. I wish you had changed your costume, man. I'm going to put that out.
So, like we agreed, right? Only one of us is supposed to look dapper at any given point of time. So, by that logic, you won the lottery this time.
Okay.
But then again, I have a very legitimate reason also, right? Because I am moving this weekend, so that's the big news. And as a result, everything is pretty much packed up. And if you look behind my back, you'll see all the boxes piled up. We're getting ready to move.
Hmm. So you're excused, for this one time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. Thank you for your generosity, man. Yeah. And hey, Vin, did you notice? We've done some new things on the screen. For the Diwali special.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
we're going all professional on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing less than professional. All right.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's great to hear. Let's see.
Perfect. So, today we have two guests. I'm just gonna introduce our first guest, who is not online just yet. He'll be joining us shortly.
Hmm.
Um, I know you know him, but I don't think you've met him. So this is going to be interesting conversation as well, right? So today's guest is one of the co-founders and partners at Veda Capital, Veda.vc. His name is Vasant. Vasant has really, he had been an entrepreneur before, working for bumper.com. And then he had done a lot of angel investments in his individual capacity. And now he started Veda.vc with one of my other good friends, Karthik Nair, who was my colleague at Let's Venture. It's so nice to see all of these people, getting into investments in their own right. I mean, this is something fun. So Veda has been investing across the board. Vin, like these guys have invested in companies like Agnicool, LOLO. I'm just pulling up the list that I have here. Agnicool, LOLO, Huawei is another company that they invested in. It's a little on the deep tech side, if you will. Um, and more recently, They have invested in Dukan and Redesign, in addition to a bunch of other companies as well, right? So it's going to be an interesting conversation because um, yeah, will do. Sorry, I'm just getting some messages from here and there, so I'm trying to respond at the same time. Uh, yeah, so great. So I've been interacting with Vasant for quite some time, and love the clarity of thought that he brings in. And I sort of had to arm twist him today to join. He last week I tried to get him, but he couldn't make it. So this time, he had no choice, right? I planned 1 week ahead of time, so he could not say no. Uh, yeah. So all right. So he's right here. So let me put him up. Hey, Vasant.
Hi guys,
Hey, hey, Vasan. Good to
how are
see you.
you?
All good.
Firstly, congratulations. Yeah, I never got to congratulate you.
On?
I said congratulations on Java Capital. I never got to congratulate you.
Okay. Thank you,
No,
man.
no. When if somebody compliments, right, you just say thanks and take it. You don't ask any other questions. Doesn't matter for what.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. That's anyway there, but you always want to know, right? What's the curiosity that spiked the congratulations? You're curious to find out. Hey, thanks.
Right, right.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
Hey, great man, Vasant. Thanks for joining us. Are you joining us on the phone or on the laptop?
On the phone, on the
Yeah,
phone.
you could have fooled us. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
actually pretty good compared to the both of us. Yeah, maybe the phone is better for all you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think your resolution is quite bad, Vinod. I think Vasant's is the best by far. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
got to do something with our internets, man.
No, it's not the internet, Karthik. I think it's the cameras, frankly. So
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
it's MacBook cameras. frankly.
Yeah, so I think I was just taking a jab at Vasant's expense, right? That he doesn't have an AirPods, and how can you be a VC without owning an AirPods? I think the joke is on me.
Yeah.
Great, man. How's it going, Vasant? Let me put you up on spotlight here, right? There, so people can see you and know you, who you are. I was just giving a brief introduction about Veda, man, and what you, Karthik, and Venus and Anish are up to. You guys have been doing great stuff. So, do you want to just give us a little bit of introduction about Veda in your own words? I obviously listed out all the super cool companies that you guys have already invested in, right? And you're on your way to becoming uh, a well-known sort of name pretty soon in the ecosystem, right? If you're not already, obviously you are within our own circle, but broadly speaking, right? So how did the whole thing started, Vasant?
Right. So I think primarily we always tell all the startups that we interact with, we are a little bit shy of being institutional investors. I think the common thread between all four of us is that we have all been entrepreneurs in the past, have probably scaled or exited ventures. And whilst doing so, I think there were many an instance where we figured that startups kind of need a little bit more than capital, right? And there are quite a few people in the ecosystem to kind of give them the capital that they need. So I think figuring out initial steps, right, helping them, kind of handhold them, especially in early stage startups, which all of us look forward to being a part of. I think when it comes to these kind of startups, they require a little bit more than cash, and that is what we bring to the table. Primarily, just to, I think, give you a small background, four partners in the fund. We have no LPs as such, right? We invest our own capital. We do about $50,000 to $100,000 in check size. Um Overall, I think product is a must for us. So if they have a good product, they have zero revenues, we jump on the opportunity because have been in the ecosystem for the past 10 years and happen to know very very good set of founders who have scaled up their ventures to greater heights in the past 7 8 years. It becomes very easy for us to kind of call them up and ask them if the product that this our portfolio has is of utility to them in their business, right? And if that is the case, I think it becomes very easy for us to go to them and say, keep just have a word and let the entrepreneur know if you like it and if it finds utility. If it does, not necessarily you got to spend more time on it. You can probably just hook him up to one of your kind of team members who's going to take that forward. But that kind of helps them achieve scale and very very quickly, provided the product is ready. So I think that's the entire thesis overall. Look out for good founders, good products, and lesser or no revenue is kind of okay with us because we kind of help them scale up both online and offline. Me and Karthik typically look at offline, and Venus and Anish, they are fabulous growth hackers. So I think they take up the online bit.
Yeah. So Vasant, you've been investing before Veda also, right? I mean,
Yes.
you're more formalizing it now with Veda, and like you said, you don't have an LPs in here. So do you apply the same sort of filters when you choose companies before as you're doing right now, compared to what you're doing right now?
Of course. So we haven't changed our thought in general. I think we may kind of change it going further when the ticket size that we deploy, the stage of the companies that we deploy, right, are still the same as we used to do before we did Veda. It's just that we have probably aligned ourselves a little bit in terms of the domains that we want to kind of get into, right? We call ourselves agnostic, I believe, but I think we are tech first. Like, so we look at deep tech businesses more with more enthusiasm, SaaS businesses with more enthusiasm, right? As compared to maybe a D2C business, which we like. And, primarily the gut call then lies on the founder, how he has scaled up the venture till date, what's kind of the proposition, rather than getting into the nitty gritties of, what is it that that differentiates them, for instance, right? Which we could very easily do in a tech enterprise, solution kind of a venture. So I think that's more of our kind of genre, as compared to maybe a D2C. But yeah, if we feel there is, the founder wants to have us on board, we want to be on board, why not? Right. So,
And wasn't having no LPs, right, or no outside investors, it sort of opens up a lot of, uh, you know, leeway for you guys to stick with the company for a longer period of time. What are some of the other things, when you think about it right now? Because is that the idea? Like, do you want to invest in the company and then stay for a longer period of time, as opposed to, let's just say, a seed fund, or someone like that?
so yeah, Karthik, I think you're bang on right when it comes to kind of sticking for a longer time, right? When you have LPs, you typically have a little bit of, kind of an obligation probably to, kind of give certain timelines when you want to kind of exit the venture, establish certain IRRs over a period of time, so on and so forth. Here, I think it gives us a lot of luxury to evaluate the business more importantly than, the journey, right? And we are of the opinion, if the business is going to be good, right, it will effectively have a very smooth sailing kind of a journey. And we would like to kind of stay for as long as we could. I think we have been doing this for the past 2 years before formalizing it as Veda. And overall, between the four of us, we have about 42 investments that we have made. And about 25% of them have gone on to raise follow-on rounds. So we also feel, it becomes a rather, easy process, not only to select the startups that we want to work with, not giving too much of an importance to if it's the domain that is currently kind of catching up in the ecosystem, but giving more weightage to the fact that what is the kind of technology they are working on, what is the problem they are solving. I think that, plus it also gives us a little bit of a leeway to kind of form our own thesis, a little bit of a more leeway for us to kind of look, probably a little bit farther than the horizon, and take some risky bets, which ideally we would not have taken if we would have had LPs. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, Vasant, it also sort of frees up, uh, free you up a little bit from bucking the trends, if you will, or taking some contrarian bets here and there, because you don't have to justify some of these things to outside investors, right? But on the other side, because you are very hands on with the founders, right? Is there did you find any pushback from the founders saying that, hey, look, this is our business, we know how to run it better, so hands off?
Yeah, so we typically don't encroach upon businesses and the way they are run. We are more of a support system, right? We are more of that bouncing board which you can bounce your ideas off, and that is what we bring to the table. So people who interact with us, so we do not work typically. We do not work with a lot of bankers. We do not work with a lot of accelerators and incubators in the system, trying to scout more deals from them. I think that's one bit of a luxury which we have. I think we get a lot of deals that are recommended from the tier A, tier A plus entrepreneurs and ventures that are
Hmm.
currently existing in the ecosystem. And when the deal flow comes from them, there already is a very clear picture that these entrepreneurs set for the people who they are mentoring, saying that we have been with you, we have seen your journey, we have been able to mentor you to the extent that we could have. And now I think people at Veda are probably better equipped in terms of time and effort, probably, to help you out better. So I think the expectation is pretty well set. Having said that, we never encroach upon into businesses. We are more kind of we play second fiddle to the CBOs, right? And you could think of us as probably a virtual CBO who's just adding more value to the venture. So I think uh, it's pretty known between us and the founder. And as a matter of fact, I think that's one of the reasons why people take us on board, because it's definitely not the check size, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and Vasan, that's an interesting point that you make, right? I was just, doing the math a little bit in my head. 42 investments over the past 2 years. What, a little over $2 million is
Yes,
what you may have
yes.
invested, right? Uh, so it's the pace is actually quite brisk, right? I mean, you're investing almost 1.5 companies if you break it down a month, or something to that effect, right? How do you guys, being a small firm of 4 people, like, how do you manage the pulls and pressures from a fairly large portfolio, right? I mean, this is something that we also asked Kushal, right? Who built up a portfolio of almost 50 companies in over 1.5 years, right? Which is like staggering. But in Kushal's case, the model also has venture partners and other people involved, whereas in your case, um, you know, for some of the, at least the earlier stage companies, right? You're basically the only go-to people. So how do you guys tend to manage that?
I think when it comes to typically, so I think we internally we break it down into three different genres of startups, right? The first, I think Kushal will be, a bit envious when I say first check, right? So these startups are typically first check startups, right? Where you're investing, on a POC, right? And these guys are the people who need much of your attention. And
Hmm.
that kind of forms, say, 20% of the startups that we invest in. And we so typically the two areas where I think they need help firstly is to kind of set across businesses the path and the structure in which they would ideally want to run a business. How do they want to model the trade and so on, right? That's more theoretical. I think that's an activity which happens once, and then you just have to kind of follow through on each and every sale that you make. Just adhere to the guidelines, and then you crack your quantum of business. The second part typically is where they want to kind of go into a subsequent raise, which is either a seed or a pre-series A raise.
Hmm.
uh, Fortunately, I think, again, since we have been in this ecosystem for the past 10 years, we've sold a couple of ventures, have met numerous VCs in the course of the journey, and I think have set real good bonds with a lot of them, right? So it becomes very easy for us to kind of pick up the phone and call up 4 or 5 of them who we know are looking forward to ventures, businesses in that area. And not only so two parts to the question which you asked, right? The first one being, how do you evaluate, rather, how do you know, because you don't have so many people as to evaluate the business objectively. I think um, uh, the bigger and the more better known VCs, who are very close to us, who kind of are mentors to us, right? They help us a lot in kind of evaluating these ventures, because they have teams and teams of people who are kind of looking at these domains. And we get a lot of companies which are referred by the VCs to us, because it's too early for them, right? And there's one referral that comes across which says that, what, you're brilliant founders, good particular
Hmm.
venture, not doing probably enough revenues, may get there, why don't you have a look at it? So it kind of acts as a multi-level filter already for us in the first place. When it comes to kind of graduating these guys to the next level of funding, again, that helps us a lot, because it helps us kind of call up these people, make a very very quick kind of pitch to the VC, saying, and most importantly, since we have been there from the start, right? We happen to know everything about the venture. We happen to know the economics really, really well. And it becomes very easy for me to kind of go across and give them the realistic or the most real picture as to, what's happening in the venture, which kind of even speeds up their, the
Progression
process,
as well. Yeah.
right? So I think these are the two places where you kind of have to help them. Other than that, we have a couple of guys. Pranav is one amongst the members in our team, who is from my previous venture, Auto Ninja, right? And he kind of helps them a lot in kind of structuring certain businesses, calls, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think in the time or in the hour where we are not hearing pitches, right? Basically, our 9 to 5s, we do that ourselves. So I think that accounts for most of our bandwidth, and more than happy to do that.
Yeah. So I'll before I toss it to Vinod, right? Just a another follow up question. Wasn't that so? You get a lot of referrals, obviously. So would you say that majority of your investments, the quality of the investment, the companies that come to your pipeline, right? um, if you were to take a shot, how much of it does it come organically through your website or some of your direct channels, and how much of it would come through your VC partners and founders, other founders, and stuff like that?
I think zero startups to the website, right? Because we're very media shy. You would
I,
not
I,
see.
I kind of figured it wasn't, when I clicked on portfolio, right, nothing showed up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, no, that can be, because I know you invested in a lot of companies,
yeah.
right?
So yeah, I think we haven't put it up yet. We would probably put it up sometime soon,
Yeah.
but we are not kind of very much aligned to the fact that I would probably want to pick up the best trends that are running in the market. I
Mhm.
would rather pick up deals that are coming through us and make them the best trends in the market, right? Uh, I think that works better for us as a fund. Um, I think zero from the website, about 70% from recommendations and referrals,
Wow.
right? About 15% from the VCs and about 15% from accelerators. So this is typically the split which I think we do. And of course, yeah, we are very very open to kind of share the cap table with a lot of other investors. I think with you we have looked at a couple of deals with other VCs, smaller VCs, like maybe Water Bridges on a couple of our deals. Modular Capital is one other VC which we very very frequently talk to. I am Cozy Code is a fund which is very very kind of media shy again, which we speak with very regularly. I think all these guys are good friends, and we kind of look at how we could align ourselves on that particular said venture, and as and when we get an answer to that, I think the entire round. Uh, we have also kind of made an investment in a network, an angel network up north in Delhi.
Okay.
Kind of also helps us get very valuable angels on board who are going to look at the startup from the point of view of kind of helping them scale better. I think these guys are typically people who kind of contribute a lot in figuring out the fundraise, also figuring paths and ways for these early stage startups, and play a really really good role in kind of making them a grand success.
That's interesting, Vasanth. I think I kind of was listening yesterday to another VC in the US talking to new fund managers, and he was telling, look, nobody, there's no one fit approach, right? Everybody has, and you do what works for you, right? So that way, right, it's interesting, how you are approaching. I think the reason Karthik also asked you that question, right? At Java, right? I think we kind of pride ourselves saying, look, we'll respond to every cold mail that comes our way. We clearly, we've told the market and the founders, right? Every cold mail, every LinkedIn request, and every DM on Twitter, right? We are going to look at it and we will respond to you, in 10 to 15 days. And that's some kind of promise. It comes from a very deep. Uh, I would say experience in sense, experience in a sense, it's a personal experiences that we've seen, right? A certain category of founders, get all that attention, references, and connects. So we said, look, we're not going to make sure the access is available for everybody. The opportunity to at least send it to us and for us to take a look, right? I think that's how we kind of structured in some sense anyway. And that leads to the other interesting question, right? Currently, that you made like 42 investments in the pandemic, right? Did you make more investments that you normally do? Because I've been when last Kushal was a guest a couple of weeks ago, and he also has made like a huge number than what typically would happen in a normal time, right? Is that the case with you also, and at Veda also? Is that what's happened? Is this like a pattern with everyone? That's what I'm trying to understand.
No, actually, I think we have been very consistent. So, we don't shy off from even doing maybe 5 deals in a month if all of them are something that fit our thesis, right? But I think the one reason which I will kind of answer this question the other way is during the pandemic there unfortunately were a few deals where probably they had gotten commits from certain VCs, from certain angels, and they could not probably get the deals done in time. And many of these deals, or few of these deals, would have passed your table, and you would have rejected them or kind of put them on hold for different reasons. I think one of the primary reasons would have been the valuations, right? Because as nano VCs or micro VCs, we have to be a tad bit careful about what kind of valuations we do go on, right? Because that's going to help us eventually determine the kind of IRRs that we are going to score.
Yeah.
And when these kind of deals which have passed your table and you have not probably acted on them because of the valuations that you are not kind of able to kind of match. Secondly, I think edtech deals, right? If you look at the edtech deals today, they are booming, right? There are so many edtech companies that are getting funded by the hour. And just before the pandemic, if you would have seen, there was not so much of a traction when it comes to edtech companies, right? I think these are the small nuances that have changed, and these are the small nuances that have probably made people like us go back on our thought and say, you know what, correct, it's the right time. It's probably the time when people are gonna migrate to an online kind of a mode, and that's when you kind of go back, look at these startups, see that they're doing very well because of the compulsion which has kind of prompted people to use that service. And then you place your bet saying how good the team is, can they keep up the traction, can they keep up the number of users that are using them, can they hold back to them after the pandemic, and lastly, if the valuation is something that fits your bill, and you do those deals. So there are quite a few deals, especially for people like us who look at 30 odd deals a month and do maybe one or two of them, right? There are a lot of deals that are in the shelves, right, which we have looked at, which are either too early for us even,
Hmm.
right? Because very strictly we also have to look at the first checks that we do. We just can't do a lot of first checks, right?
Yeah.
So I think that helps us get a better pipeline, or might have helped Kushal get a better pipeline, or even us for that matter, to get a better pipeline. And I think that's more of the reason.
So interesting, right? No, even the big VCs, right? Like the 300 for 200 million guys, they are also doing a first check. I've got very high first checks, $1.5 million, $2 million, just on founders, right? Today,
Yep, yep.
when that so we are talking of valuation and we're talking of product or POC, right? Even the large VCs are starting to do that. Does that mean, is it like, everybody wants to play early, or is it a one-off cases? Because like a recent transaction I just noticed today, we were talking about it, right? 85 crore valuation, no product, nothing else, just an idea and the tech.
Yeah.
But but ex-employee of a VC firm and another employee from a top-notch, let's say, unicorn. So they've already got invested by a bunch of micro VCs and the top-notch VC, or in the top 5-6 VCs, right? So when such a deal comes to you, right, what do you do? How do you react to that? Because it's like maybe it's in the sweet spot, but there's no product at all.
Yeah, we refrain from doing it. Right? I'll tell you the reason. Because the guys, see, when you bet on a team, right? It's either you bet on the team when you know for a fact that they are starting right, okay, and there's a confidence that they will end right, okay. Here,
Mhm.
they've when you bet on these teams, right, you're already betting halfway through. The general problems that a teething entrepreneur would face, these guys are not going to face it, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of is a sense of security that the VCs get when you look at second time, third time entrepreneurs. Obviously, the valuations are high, and I kind of feel it depends on whether you like the venture, whether you like the space. In case we have done a couple of deals which are so we refrain from doing convertibles, right? We refrain from doing any kind of convertible, but we have done a few deals that are on convertibles, and the reason it is because we know for a fact that the deals are going to mature very very soon and are going to gain a lot of traction because the founders have had relevant history, they had relevant experience, and they're reworking the same field, so they would be less erroneous in their approach, and that is some way I think which gives us more security for the cash that we deploy. And isn't that the game, right? So that's, I think, very very valid for people who take these bets. But I think for people like us who would want to be a part of the venture and just can't be, I think that's something for us to be disappointed for, but not for the market, definitely.
Sure. So I think one other question, Karthik is back. He's brought light again.
Yeah.
Karthik, happy Diwali again, man, for you specifically. Yeah. Uh,
Thank you, man.
I mean, whenever such thing happens, I keep saying, whatever progress, venture capital, we're talking of fancy, crazy stuff, right? And at the end of the day, you have a power cut, and we lose internet connection.
So true, yes.
This is the second time it's happening, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I was
Awesome.
afraid of that.
I'll ask one last question, Vasant. You've met so many founders over the years now, right? In the last 2 years, along with your partners. What's like one takeaway or two takeaways that you tell founders? Or what do you tell them now? I mean, what should they expect from micro VC now? I mean, I have certain things to sell, but I want to hear from you. What will you tell the founder?
So in regards to what, I think one takeaway would be, do not run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying in terms of expectations from a micro VC firm like us.
Oh, I think play your cards right. Uh, Understand how best can you use us, right? Take the right kind of approaches when it comes to kind of bouncing the ball off us. Utilize whatever best you can from our side in terms of the connects, the values, and simply put, I think, do not run behind valuations, right? Let's prove a business together. Let's kind of prove that there's a lot of traction to what we do, and eventually that will help you get where you want to be, right? I think that is one big takeaway which I would definitely tell the founders post and pre-investment. So yeah.
Awesome. Karthik, over to you too. Thanks, Vasant, for patiently answering. I wish you a happy Diwali and your family and your partners.
Same to you. Same to you.
And we look forward to light up something together in the coming year, man.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna drag Karthik's behind also to this one of these days. So
Of course.
just give him a heads up, right? It's coming. He
Sure.
cannot escape it. Thanks, man. Great. Hopefully, like Vinod said, soon enough we will make a co-investment. We just cannot wait. We've been sort of arm twisting everybody who's coming on the on this one. It's like when, give us a date. Yeah. Okay, cool, man. Chalo then. Take care. Bye bye.
Done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you so
Diwali.
much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Happy Diwali.
Great having you. Happy Diwali again.
This is so nice, man. While we are at it, why don't we just share our Diwali wishes to our viewers, and then we will bring in our surprise second guest as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Maybe we should do it together. Wishing everyone a happy and a safe Diwali.
Very happy Diwali, guys.
From Java, Bhargavi couldn't join her, but to us today. She may be able to join. We're not really sure, but bringing her also. She's also wishing everyone a happy Diwali.
Yeah, so Bhargavi had a little bit of an emergency with her son. It looks like he cracked open his knee or something like that. It sounded very bad. So hopefully it's not as terrible as it sounds. Or maybe we'll put Bhargavi on the spot next week. When she comes back here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breathing on the knee and stuff. Yeah, Karthik. Yeah. So is it time for our next guest, Karthik?
It is. We have our next guest online with us right now. I'm just gonna loop her just in a moment. Actually, I was just thinking, right? In fact, we've had so many guests before, but haven't had any women on the
Yes.
freewheeling Fridays that we do, right? I think this is a very special thing. So, it, I mean, I have a huge respect for this founder. She's a young founder of a very young startup. Her name is Anushka Shetty. Anushka, can you hear me?
Hey,
Hello.
Anushka.
Okay, I think let me just get her back online. Maybe she's a little away from the desk or something like that.
There's also, Anushka is there's only the Happy Diwali light in Anushka right now on the screen. Um, no, I think interesting backstory, right, on Anushka, right, as you try and get her, Karthik. So I'll just give, right. So I think, she years ago, a couple of years ago, I think, still at Kalari K Start, right, she pinged and, um, hey, Anushka,
Hello.
Anushka, we can't see you.
Hey, hi. I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There you
I
go.
couldn't hear you. Yeah, I'm here now. Hi.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All good.
Completely new look. You know, completely new look, Vinod.
Yeah, just Karthik forced me, traditional look today, yeah, and he didn't come in traditional wear.
Yes, that's very much my idea.
Yeah,
Anushka, I was just telling our viewers, right, that this is a very special episode because you're one of the first women that we've had on Freewheeling Fridays. So really excited to have you there. I mean, obviously, other than Bhargavi, our third partner, who couldn't be here today, uh, you know, I hope Bhargavi didn't, you know, nothing. I'm not meaning anything else, Bhargavi, and I'm just talking about only our guests. Okay, so
Anushka, you should understand this is freewheeling. Anything kind of goes here.
anything goes.
Yeah,
Anything goes except oh shoot, I think we just lost her.
that I think maybe I just should have not said anything goes and she just goes.
No, but this is a problem, like it's the power cuts, the bad data connections, yada yada yada. Okay, she's back now.
Karthik, it seems to be happening only in this episode now, very strangely. So
Right. Yeah, this is the first time that we're actually facing a bunch of issues all happening at the same time.
you can blame it on Modi if you want to.
No, man, not publicly, bro. I'll probably blame it with an alias on Twitter, like normal people do.
Okay,
Yeah, but
I,
finish your story, Vinod. How did
I think
you met Anushka first?
I remember. I think she pinged me on LinkedIn, and she was doing this thing, and at a similar time, right? Hooked was going crazy in the valley, and I looked at Hooked, and I was playing around with Hooked in the valley, and I kind of sensed, there's like a different way of telling stories for millennials. And when this came up, I was like pretty excited and did a couple of calls. Obviously, it didn't move along too fast. It was a different product than what today Plop is. But what I liked about Anushka was that she didn't give up. She called me again for feedback. I think a lot of founders don't realize, right? Like most people are willing to help, like be it VC or anybody, right? You just need to give them a genuine reason to help you.
Hmm.
And that way, right? She did ask me for a little bit of feedback. I was more than willing to spend time with her. A couple of calls, and that's how I kind of knew Anushka. And obviously, when she was raising the recent round, we I did talk to her. I'm sure Karthik, you are also aware. Right? We did talk to her. I think
Correct.
we
Correct.
were a little late to the party, and but that's how it's been the journey with Anushka. And I always felt a very strong founder in terms of how she thinks and how she executes, and
Yeah,
extremely interesting that we have Anushka as a first women guest, and also a founder. I think we've not had founders, except maybe apart from our portfolio founders, right? Uh,
correct, correct. We've had maybe Raj was there. Yeah,
Raj became a founder of something else after coming on our show.
she's, she's
Yeah,
a good woman, man.
rocking it.
No, I
Anushka,
think,
I think
but interestingly, Vinod, we're not having Anushka on
she's
today
here.
because
She's
she's a
right
woman.
here.
She's yeah. I think she's still having issues with her internet. Uh,
Okay.
uh, yeah, can you hear us,
I
Anushka?
can, yeah, yeah, I can hear you guys now, but I'm really not sure how stable the internet is going to be. We're having some electricity issues in the area, so I'm so sorry. The internet is
Join the
taking.
party.
Yeah, so I think I'll just, I don't know how long, I can't guarantee the length of this uninterrupted internet, but yeah,
Right. Welcome to Freewheeling Fridays.
thank
Really
you so
appreciate you
much.
joining us. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to the whole Java Capital team. Happy Diwali and to all the viewers.
Thank you, Anushka.
Yeah,
Anushka, I was just giving a little bit of a backstory, as you were trying to, when I've last, when I've met and, initial conversations and what was
sure.
happening and how we missed out, on being in the round with you.
Yeah.
Just telling to the viewers. So how's it going, Anushka? It's been quite some time now. I'm sure great stuff is happening. Where is Plop at? A little bit about Plop. Can you just talk about what Plop is and and where is it at? Yeah.
Sure. So at Plop, our vision is to build a platform for interactive fiction. So if you guys have heard of Roblox, Roblox is a platform that allows kids to make their own games, which is very popular in North America. Uh, if you've seen Netflix and what Netflix is trying to do with Bandersnatch, etc., trying to create interactive stories where users can actually participate in the story curve and actually decide which way the story goes. That's an example of interactivity, right? Interactive content. We, however, do interactive content more focused on the reading or the story novels bit. So we're like an interactive novel where you can decide which way the novel goes. You can participate in it, and of course, the story is also interspersed with a lot of multimedia elements. So some of our best some of our most interactive elements are audio video simulation. So, for example, if it's a story and there's a kidnapper in the story, you can actually get a call from the kidnapper and you can answer it. So, those kind of things that really make the story come to life. So, imagine a Bandersnatch experience merged with like reading a Harry Potter. So, imagine you're reading the book where it has this experience where you can decide which way the story goes. So, we want to create this, our vision is to create this platform where anybody can create this kind of content. People can log on and amateurs can actually build this interactive, immersive experience for their readers. That's our vision. We currently have over 1 lakh users on the platform, and we have users primarily from North America and Western Europe. We are not a production house. Like I said, the vision is to allow amateurs and novices to log in and create their own content. So we're a pure play platform model. So currently we have like loads of writers from all across the world coming on and creating their own content. We were very clear from day one that we wanted to be very global. So our aesthetics, our the way the stories unfold, everything we try to keep it very not very agnostic, not very Indian or not very American or anything. Kept it very global in nature, and we're actually going in that direction and trying to get more users on the platform. So yeah, that's where we're at.
That's interesting. So we have Bhargavi also joining us. Great to have Bhargavi also. Uh, Bhargavi, we have Anushka. Finally, we get hold.
Yeah, hi, Anushka. Hi. Finally, it's good to meet the person behind Block.
Hi Bhargavi, so nice to meet you. Happy Diwali.
Thank you. Wish you the same.
Thank you very much.
Anushka, just that one thing that struck me, in the earlier answer, right? Roblox, right? Very,
Yeah.
very few people know that, since you brought that up, right? That seems like a very interesting vision and how you're
Right.
thinking in terms of what you want this platform to become. Like what Roblox has done for gaming,
Exactly.
you kind of intend to do that for storytelling. If I may
Right.
put, that's exactly.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a very interesting vision, and a lot of people are noticing Roblox now in India. I mean, the
Yeah.
last 1 week, I noticed at least 2, 3 threads on Roblox. Before that, nobody was even bothered. Actually,
Yeah.
my friend is in Roblox in the US. That's how I know about that.
Oh, okay. So interestingly, the first person who told me about Roblox is my niece. So,
Yeah,
my husband's niece, she follows Roblox and she plays games in it, and I think she has friends who create games in it. And I realized that so people maybe your age and my age will not know about it, but these younger guys who are under 15 actually use Roblox quite a bit. But of course, it's gaining popularity in India only now.
yeah.
It's extremely popular in the US. It's just getting its feet here
Yeah.
now.
And a little bit of inside news on Roblox. They got to go IPO sometime soon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely sure they'll do fabulously well.
So, Anushka, you said you have over 100,000 users right now, right? What was it when we spoke um, uh, like about 4 months ago, 5 months
4 months.
ago when we spoke?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 months ago, we were, I think, at about we were under 20,000 users.
Yeah,
So,
I thought so too. It was
yeah, not even
amazing,
that
man.
much, I think. So,
Yeah. I thought it was somewhere around 10,000 like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, Tremendous. What you guys have been doing to scale the product. I also have Vineet, by the way, and I'll just loop Vineet in.
sure.
Hey, Vineet,
Hey Karthik, hi Vinod.
welcome.
Hey, Vinith. I think I'm seeing Vinith for the first time. I've spoken to him a couple of times, but I'm seeing him in.
You met him, Vinod. You met him
Yeah, that was better quite a
But
a
while
long
back.
time back. Yeah,
this was at K-Start, I think, right?
The-
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think, yeah.
Sorry,
Hey, Anushka, thank you so much. This is you caught him in the act, okay?
This is what happens with freewheeling, Anushka. You can throw all such things at each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, great. Good to see you, man. Again. Yeah.
Same
Finally,
here, same here.
work on the product. I did use it. And my daughter was playing around with it a little bit. And she was especially late night. Then I cut it off for some time. Yeah, Bhargavi has been a fan. I think she's been using the product for some time.
Oh,
I think,
excellent.
yeah, we love
Yeah,
it
yeah.
first. Yeah. It's pretty entertaining, at least for kids. I think.
I'm a paid subscriber. I have read so many paid stories.
Oh,
One of
amazing.
our important customers. Your
Yeah,
feedback is extremely essential.
Yeah, absolutely. Bhargavi, you should catch hold of her and ask her, what's going on.
absolutely. Yeah.
I have
So
seen
I
the
was just
product
asking.
grow from initially. This is very, very early, right? Even before your initial funding got announced, when we were talking, when I wanted to
Right.
play around, right? There were some glitches. The payment will not reflect. It will take time to reflect. But one good thing I have shared it with Vinod as well, right? It was in the night, and I emailed somebody, and within 10-15 minutes, somebody responded back crediting the credits. So it's been very good at that time. Now, of course, the product has matured a lot. I see the engagement, the number of people who contribute, right? I see that has grown
Yeah.
tremendously.
Increase.
So, yeah, I have experienced it personally.
Bhargavi, all the praise, right, Anushka? The question is from our investors is why did you guys not invest?
Exactly.
I
But
hope,
no, I
Not
mean,
picked
I
up.
hope I can give an answer next time around. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's always, I mean, investment is, I mean, it's also a lot about timing, right? I mean, sometimes it's just everybody has good intentions, everybody wants to come together, but sometimes just the timing of it, it just doesn't go through. Investment is like a whole different story altogether. It's like,
Yeah. I think early days for us
So,
was
but
that time.
just tell us what have been your early challenges. How you guys have been tackling those challenges.
sure. Vineet, you want to take this? We haven't heard it.
So I mean, in terms of challenges, of course, I mean it falls under various buckets. So one is product, the other could be investments and stuff like that. So I'll primarily talk about product first. We are primarily a global company. Most of our users are based out of the US. Almost 50% of our usage comes from the US. Only 10%, in fact, 5 to 10% audience is actually from India. So for us, getting feedback, the first crucial loop, which is the feedback loop, to get that was extremely difficult because I mean you can't sit with someone and actually do a one-on-one. Plus, of course, the feedback that we would get from India would be very different than the kind of feedback that we would get internationally. So for us, getting those aspects right was a challenge. Of course, one of the good things for us was we partnered up with a lot of writers. So writers know their audience very well. So we kind of latched on to that because again, writers want to succeed and we want to help writers succeed. So that we took a lot of our initial user feedback plus our product feedback from the writers themselves because again, writers themselves are readers. So that kind of helped us a lot, and they were like very much. I mean, we were the communication channels were accessible with them. I mean, we could have like hour-long conversations with them. So it was much easier getting those product feedbacks initially from our writers. So I think from a product point standpoint, yeah, that was one of the challenges. From an investment standpoint, I mean, I think I feel one of the aspects was we being a primarily global company. Indian investors, it was a challenge understanding or getting into the limelight of Indian investors and getting into that whole growth story because we were very focused again on monetization. So we wanted our unit metrics to be positive, especially since we were also, I mean, we are primarily a platform, so most of our writers get paid based on the number of reads that their stories get. Uh, so again, from that standpoint, and we were not doing vernacular, so we were primarily into English. From an investor standpoint, again, that was a little bit of a challenge to show them the global, picture.
Were there any like did you get any pushback or naysayers saying, "Hey, how can you build this product sitting in India with the US in mind?"
So
Absolutely.
most of the people, I mean, not really directly because we had shown that our initial organic growth has been through global. So we did not pay these users. So that was one of the important points. But a lot of investors did come back to us and told us, why don't you do it for Hindi? Why don't you
Yeah,
do it for
yeah.
Marathi? So that
Because
was
vernacular is the
that
name of
was
the
like
game now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's psyched
correct,
about
Yeah.
correct,
vernacular.
correct. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of them were like, "We will definitely invest if you do like Hindi, let's say, or Marathi." So that was, of course, a challenge because again, for us, every language is like a product in itself. Right? So I mean, it's from a purely technical standpoint, technology standpoint, we can scale it up to 100 languages today. So
Hmm.
that's not a challenge. But like every product, like Hindi speaking audience, the behavior of that audience will be very different than a US based English audience or based English audience, right? So to get that right for multiple languages would have been a challenge and an investment mainly. So we wanted to be focused, and for us, English, since of course it kind of a lot of people across the globe actually read English. So that was our core area, and we are focusing on that even now. So
But
Anushka.
the content creators are mostly are they based out of India or are they from US or all over the place?
The creators also have a similar ratio to the users. So most of them are from the US and Western Europe. We of course have some from Southeast Asia too, like
Hmm.
the Philippines,
Right.
Singapore. So some very good writers come from those regions also. But majority of them, just like our users, Vineet mentioned, about 50-60% would be from North America, another 50-60% North America, another 20% Europe, and about 10% from India.
So it's challenging, right, Anushka? When you think about it, you have your uh, customers, in the US, like Southeast Asia, and you guys are sitting here in India,
Yeah.
working in different time zones. I know everything is on Zoom right now, online. Do you think how often do you guys interact with your customers and try to improve the product with feedback from them?
Right. So exactly like we covered very well in the beginning that the feedback loop was very difficult initially, but we started building some loops within the product itself. So basically, we had this thing that you want to read a story for free, then write us an email with product feedback. So we started incentivizing users to write back to us and to write us detailed emails and give them stuff for free in exchange for that. So we saw that that kind of worked. I mean, a lot of emails came where people would just say "great product" and that's it, with like a
Yeah,
thumbs
yeah.
up or that's it. Of course, that happened, but out of those, maybe 2 out of 10 emails would actually have some very insightful points. Would
Mm,
actually have
mm.
some really good points, and that really helped us. We understood what the mindset of the user was. What are they expecting? Like a feature that we didn't expect, uh, to be so requested was the black background feature, the black layout, the dark mode feature.
Right, right,
We
right, right.
didn't think that
Yeah,
that would be so, that would be in so much demand. But
correct.
apparently, what we realized is that the audience that we're targeting right now is very used to using the night mode or the dark mode on a lot of apps.
Mm.
So that became like an insight that we didn't have. But motivating them to write to us, to keep writing to us, actually helped us create that feedback loop a lot. And again, one another very interesting point that Vineet pointed out was it was much easier to start dialogues with the supply side, that is the writers. It was much easier to start dialogues with the writers and get them on a call, do a Skype call with them, and extract as much information as possible from them. Yeah, so we kept doing that. Of course, initially it was difficult because initially, you can imagine somebody called Anushka from India is emailing me and asking me to write on their platform. I mean, I
Right.
don't know, and like I'm like a white blonde person sitting in Atlanta. It's very difficult. It is difficult, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
who's this person writing to me? You think it's a scam. It's like one of those prince from Nigeria is emailing me asking. It's like that sort of a thing. You just yeah, but you have to keep at it. You have to the only way to solve that problem initially is to just broaden the top of the funnel. Like I write to 1,000 people so that I get like 300 writers to respond to me. And once you start getting the supply side going, you start getting the writers going, they begin to write and they begin to then advocate for us. And so our focus was we need to make the writers our advocates. They need to talk about us. They need to request readers to come on board. And that's how we sort of overcame that barrier.
No, I think it's interesting that top of the funnel, right? That's relevant even for Java Capital.
Yeah.
uh,
So what also helps us is once these writers come on board, we help them promote their book on Instagram and all of these other channels. So what happens is other writers kind of see that, and actually we have inbound entries from some of these writers who want to write for us. So that kind of helps this entire social angle, and our product especially is a social product because I mean once you write a book, you would want to promote it on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, all of these channels. So there we promote. I mean, and plus our books are not available anywhere else, so they will have to promote Plop, and that's how a lot of people, also writers, also get a confidence that okay, if this person has written, then yeah, I mean, there is some credibility to the entire product. And plus of course the design aspect as well. So because our entire thing is the app. I mean that's the front end. If that doesn't work properly, people will have questions. So that was our first main. In fact, we spent a lot of time in getting the product right, because we were going at a global audience. So that was very critical. It was a crucial piece.
awesome. I think I think it's one of the few products where it's being built for a global audience out of India, a consumer product, and I'm like excited, look forward to what you guys do, and wish you guys the all the best and happy Diwali again.
Thank you.
Look forward to being a part of it at some point in time.
Absolutely. We hope
Absolutely.
we hope that's possible very, very soon. Absolutely.
Anushka, as always, right? We've been great fans of you, like Vinod said, and more power to you. You guys are amazing. The kind of work that you're doing, I mean, just fantastic. And thank you so much for taking time on Diwali night to join us. I didn't realize that today is Diwali night, right? When I sent you the invitation, but Vinith, so great to see you finally. Putting your face to the name. It's just amazing.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you so much for the feedback as
No
well.
worries at all. We're super happy to be. I mean, trying to be productive on Diwali. So it's great catching up with you guys and happy Diwali to the whole team. And thank you so much for the support always. So I think since the time we first spoken, you guys have been. I mean, I know that the investment thing didn't go through. There was a timing mismatch, but thank you so much for being so
I
supportive.
think we met Vinod some 2-3 years back with our first product, which was very different then, but in the literature space itself. So it was called Penbound then. I think a lot of the feedback which helped us kind of pivot into the entire flop model has come from Vinod as well. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you, guys. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Thank you for being such a great support system. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, guys. Have a safe Diwali. Happy Diwali. See you guys.
Happy
See
Diwali.
you.
All
Happy
right.
Diwali. Bye,
Happy
Anushka.
Diwali.
Bye.
Bye,
Cheers, guys.
Vinny.
Bye bye.
Bye, Bhargavi. Bye. Bye, Karthik.
Okay. Awesome, Karthik.
Awesome team, man. I love that team. Fantastic people. Hey, Bhargavi, everything all right with your son?
Yeah, yeah. Just
Uh,
little lot of crying.
Perfect. So I think the only thing that is left is for you to wish our audience. We've already
Happy
done.
Diwali, everybody. See, I have all the ambience behind me.
Yeah, we can see it. Nice lighting and everything. Way to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, I think on that note, Karthik, there's nothing more on top of that. It's Diwali only. There's nothing else that's caught our eyes, I assume. So,
Correct, correct. That's true. That's true. Even if it did, we'll save it for next week, right? I mean,
Yeah.
awesome. Happy Diwali to everyone, to you guys also. See you on
all right.
next week's Freewheeling Friday. I just want to leave a small note. If you want to brighten your next coming year, take a look at our website. Go to and look at Angel Investor course. It's starting on 21st November. Few slots open. Do go there. Join us for the course. You'll have a better, brighter Diwali next year.
All right. On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye. Happy Diwali.
Bye bye.
Bye.